Are your Ubuntu Snap packages secure? Well, there's actually a new tool to test for that, and we'll talk briefly about this and why it's necessary and things like that today. Thanks for checking out this video by Switch to Linux. If you like this type of content, subscribe to the channel and leave us a like and a comment down below. And yes, we have a new tool that is out where you can evaluate your Snap packages. Now, it does not have to be the Snap packages on your system. It literally will just scan whatever's in the Snap store, and eventually maybe everything will be scanned. But I want to talk about this in light of the Snap, and we haven't had a discussion about it. I know a lot of people are kind of moving over to Linux, or at least investigating Linux, because of all the weird shenanigans Windows is doing. And so let me just go ahead and mention where I sit on snaps. First, we have to say there's a couple of different ways that you can install software on Linux. I personally prefer going to the repository first, and then I will do Flatpaks, and then app images, and then snaps in that respective order. The big problem with snaps is while the snaps themselves are, at least the code, I think, is auditable code. I am seeing proprietary tags in some of these. Interesting. But in theory, you can audit the code. But it is all centrally distributed from one server at Canonical, which means there is a point of failure, there is a single point of intrusion, there is a single point of data collection, there is a single point for some malicious hackers to intercept. And that is really where we have a problem. Whereas Flatpak, well, most people are configuring Flatpak with FlatHub, so it sort of creates a de facto. Nothing stops you from creating your own FlatHub system. Nothing stops you from disabling that one and getting your Flatpaks from other sources or things like that. And so those were some of the criticisms we had. Now, one of the other criticisms I've always had is that if you remember when Windows first launched its store back in the Windows 8 era, and you'd get on there and you'd see a lot of really crappy, shoddy, buggy programs all over the place. And Microsoft didn't seem to care because they just wanted a store that looked as big as the Android and the Apple store. This wasn't just applicable to the Windows operating system on a phone, but also the Windows operating system on the desktop when they were launching the RT versions of Windows versus the desktop version of Windows we have now, which has a Microsoft store. And so the problem with Snap is that it became this store that you can look for a single package and see multiple different revisions of the allegedly the same package, and none of them are put together by the developer, and some of them are all written in Chinese, and you're like, what is this? And so it comes off as being a little bit crappy. And maybe we should say snappy, but I don't know, maybe crappy might be better. So this is a new tool. We mentioned, I don't know why it's maybe it's significant to know it's vibe coded. Who cares? It is done by a competent person. This is actually put together by Alan Pope. Now, if you've followed my channel for about a decade, I think our channel is a little over a decade now, maybe a little under a decade now, around a decade. Well, a long time ago, when Snap was first introduced, and I had a lot of criticisms of the Snap platform, Alan Pope was the one you'd oftentimes see in my comments, defending Snap's position. And the reason for that is at that time, he was a PR person for Canonical for the Snap project. And so it was literally his job to combat people like me, where I was free to look at it from all perspectives and kind of decide and go, hey, you know what? I'm not sure if I necessarily like this or not. So, and so I made some points that he was, possibly was right on because he's more of a programmer than I am. But there were a lot of points I made that I was right on down the road. And what was funny is when he left Canonical, he started pointing out some of the problems I had pointed out. Kind of interesting. So, one of those fun stories. But I just bring that up just to mention Alan Pope is a person that one of his early jobs was working with, I can't say early jobs for him, but he was one of the ones working on Snaps early in Snap's existence as PR and other things and maintenance and things like that. So this is not a person unfamiliar familiar with snaps. And when this application is actually a tremendous tool he created. So I saw this and I kind of wanted to talk about it because it does still highlight some of the problems that I see that still exist with the Snap platform. So he did vibe code it, and the reason he vibe coded it is it was part of a one of these programs you can get in, and so it's like a rush to create a program or something. And so he created this. He does have a video there you can watch on the It's Foss article there. Currently, it only supports the x86 64 packages. They're saying that it'll show other packages. It'll show you the CVEs, and it'll kind of go through those. So here's just kind of a picture of what you see on the only Office editor. And somewhere in here it will say when it was last scanned. So this one is published 12/5. This one was scanned 12/12. And so it'll give you the version of everything that we have. And then you'll see in here, it lists 10 vulnerabilities, 0 critical, 0 high, 1 medium, and 6 low. And you'll see this. Now, is this, oh, wow, it's vulnerabilities? No, I wouldn't necessarily say that. These are, there's a lot of bugs that keep CVEs on there that are considered so low priority. It'd be like, the phases of the moon have to happen perfectly right, and one particular code ninja has to gain full access to your system for 5 hours to bug you, We're talking just because there's a vulnerability does not necessarily mean a package is inherently bad. It will point out, though, all of the CVEs, so you can make that decision for yourself, which is actually good. This is where it is. This is the Vibe Olympics, which is a vibe coding competition to win some money. I hope he won something with it because this is a pretty cool application. So this is actually what it looks like if you go over to the page. So it's snapscope.popey.com, and Popey, Popey.com is Alan Pope's personal site. So you go over here and you can search for individual packages, and if it's not there, you can hit the queue button. And I'm not sure how long it takes the queue to process because I wanted to process one, and as of at least a couple of hours ago, I processed it and it's still not done yet. But we'll go ahead and have a look at this. So we'll show you what is recently scanned. So you can see Flarium, and Oxen web client, Vivaldi. So Vivaldi, NordVPN, those are two that have recently been scanned, and you'll notice each of those. NordVPN's got nothing. So, hey, we can look at NordVPN Snap and go, that's pretty good. Vivaldi has 1 medium one and 2 low ones. So Vivaldi, not bad, actually. Then we have a look at, here's VLC, recently scanned. You can see there's a bunch there starting at the medium. Here's Brave, 0. That's good news. LibreOffice, 1 on the medium, 9 on the, 1 on the high. Let's see, where was that at? Brave. No, LibreOffice. 1 on the high, 9 on the medium, 2 on the low. And then you had the highest vulnerabilities. And what I thought was interesting looking at this, here's your highest vulnerabilities, glue server, 29 critical. I mean, don't use that. I don't know. But you get down here and you see all these Nextclouds. I thought this was very interesting because looking at all these various Nextclouds on here, you're like, I thought Nextcloud was really good. Well, Nextcloud is actually really good. And if you search for the official Nextcloud, this is the official verified Nextcloud, verified by them. You will notice that this one still has 6 criticals. And I'm not sure, this one here was scanned today as I'm recording this. This was released about a month ago. Now, what I don't know is Nextcloud aware of these? Are they working on these? And while Nextcloud does officially publish the Snap, is this the absolute latest version? Because if you go to Nextcloud's page to download the desktop client, they do not promote the Snap. They make it available, I think, because Snap is there, but they actually promote the app image to download the desktop client for Nextcloud. So I do not know if they are aware of this, if these have been patched, and maybe it's the latest version isn't up there yet. I'm not sure. But the reason I wanted to point this out is there are a lot of things that propose to be Nextcloud. So Of course, there's only 2 of them. If you search for Nextcloud, there's only 2 that are verified by Nextcloud itself. Everything else is by random people here. And so some of these, like this one here, Nextcloud Nextant, this one here is actually a canonical employee. I have no earthly idea who Oscar is, but the problem you have with this one is that Oscar hasn't updated the Nextcloud package since 2018. Yet this package, which supposedly is the Nextcloud desktop client, is still available right now for download in the Snap store. This is the type of stuff that I had serious criticisms. Now, Snap at the time, I was doing a lot more videos on it. It was too new to see this, but hey, justified once again. Probably around 2018, I was mentioning that we will see applications that are going to be abandoned and they're going to still be offered for a long time. And lo and behold, that's actually what we see. This is actually the page where it's not in here. I hit the scan to latest button up here, and as of right now, it was in the queue and it still is not scanned. I'm not going to push the button again because I've already pushed it. Actually, I pushed it twice. My apologies, Alan, just because I wasn't sure something happened. But there's a little text that shows up here for a brief moment that says it is added to the queue. So I'm not going to hit the button again. We don't need too many scans. But I'm going to guess that this Nextcloud Snap from Unverified Oscar last updated in 2018, which is still available for download on your Snap store if you look for it in Ubuntu, by the way. I have a sneaky suspicion it's going to be full of errors and bugs. So this tool will give you the ability to search for various packages so you can do your own evaluation. So OnlyOffice was in their listing there at the beginning. You see this is verified, 1 medium and 6 low. Let's go back and have a brief look at LibreOffice, which is my preferred. Now, this one here is verified, but it's released by Canonical, not by LibreOffice. So this is verified by them. LibreOffice allows them and lets Canonical mark it as verified. And so you can see that there's 1 high, 9 medium, and 2 low. Last scanned 12/17. Last published just 2 days ago, 12/15. Now, will you find these same CVE bugs in the repository versions, whatever else? Maybe, maybe not. But the point is that this gives you a tool by which you can look at and evaluate the veracity of your various snaps. So if I were to go back to the basic Snap store and want to search for something, you might find various things that some of these might be really good, some of these might not be really good, but this is at least as a tool that will tell you what information is in there. Now, it might give us enough information if we don't know how to read all the CVEs. You go, oh, the verified Nextcloud recent version has 6 critical vulnerabilities. It might be more scary information in some ways. This I will leave to the computer security people to comment on, as I am not particularly in computer security, but I also know that since Nextcloud does not promote the Snap, I would only use the Snap version of Nextcloud if I had no other option. But being as that they make an app image available and that is the one that they promote and recommend on their own website, that's probably the one I would go with and assume it might be in better shape. Now, why does this happen? A lot of the reason this happens is because sometimes an application works better with one version of a dependency than another. And these dependencies sometimes are fixed really quickly, and they may get patched on a repository version more quickly than they will get patched inside of a Snap version. And as long as the Snap version is working, sometimes you just don't want to mess with it. Now, the sandboxing in Snaps does make them a little bit more secure than a repository version, but the repository version, assuming no errors with the dependency happens, will actually result in a better overall instance. And so it's really still a hit and miss in this whole world of snaps and Flatpaks. There is no one better model. There is no one worse model. It boils down to preferences, security preferences, and hey, how out of date is your store? So it's cool that we have a good application. I'm wondering how long it'll take before our 2018 package actually gets it scanned, though, because I really, inquiring minds over here really want to know on that one. But anyway, that is a nice tool. If you do use Snap, you might want to have a look at this just to verify the snaps you're using are actually being updated, monitored, and clear of many vulnerable issues you might think of. So it does give you more information, and for that is an excellent application. I will leave a link to SnapScope in the comments or the description down below. Thanks for watching, and I hope that you enjoy switching to Linux.